You think you know yourself. You go through your days making choices, having thoughts, reacting to people, situations, memories. But have you ever wondered who's really making those decisions? Who's really in charge? There is a part of you that you don't acknowledge, don't see, and maybe don't want to see. This part is known as the shadow self. It's not evil. It's not wrong. It's simply the part of your psyche that contains everything you've repressed, rejected, or denied. As children, we begin life whole. But slowly, bit by bit, we are told what is acceptable and what is not. Don't cry, boys don't cry. Good girls don't get angry. Why can't you be more polite, more quiet, more agreeable? These messages shape us. We learn which parts of us are rewarded with love and which parts are punished with distance, shame, or silence. And so, we start to cut away pieces of ourselves and hide them in the shadows. But just because something is hidden doesn't mean it disappears. The shadow self doesn't go away. It lives on in your unconscious, waiting, influencing your choices, your relationships, your fears. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Let that sink in. Every time you explode with anger, only to regret it minutes later. Every time you sabotage something good in your life. Every time you project your fears or insecurities onto others. That's not just random. That's your shadow acting out. It's the part of you that wasn't allowed to speak. So it screams through your actions. So how do you face it? The first step is to stop running from it. Shadow work begins with radical self-honesty. Look at the parts of yourself you dislike. Your jealousy, your rage, your arrogance, your fear of failure, your secret judgments. Don't excuse them. Don't justify them. Just acknowledge them. Jung didn't say to destroy the shadow. He said to integrate it. That means you accept that those darker aspects are part of you. And in that acceptance, they lose their control over you. Imagine a child who has been locked in a basement, unfed, unseen, unheard. That child will scream, throw things 'cause chaos. But if you open the door, feed them, talk to them, the child calms down. That's your shadow. Another tool, journaling. Ask yourself deep questions. When do I feel most triggered? What emotions am I ashamed of? What do I judge harshly in others? And could it be a reflection of myself? Be careful, though, shadow work is not an aesthetic. It's not trendy or edgy or easy. It's a quiet, painful, beautiful reckoning with the parts of you that never got to speak. Meditation helps too. Not the kind where you try to empty your mind, but the kind where you observe what's in your mind without judgment. Sit with your emotions. Don't run. Don't label them as good or bad. Just witness. You may cry. You may shake. You may feel shame. That's okay. Feeling is healing. The truth is, we all have a shadow. The difference is whether we ignore it or integrate it. Those who ignore it become puppets to their unconscious, reacting, lashing out, sabotaging. But those who integrate it become whole, grounded, self-aware, free. Remember, the shadow isn't your enemy. It's your invitation to become the full version of who you are. When you begin to face your shadow, something unexpected happens. You start to see it not only in yourself but in everyone else. The friend who constantly gossips might be hiding deep insecurity. The partner who controls everything might be masking fear of abandonment. The coworker who always seeks praise could be starving for love they never received. You stop judging so quickly. You start understanding. Because now you recognize the mask, and you've seen your own. Carl Jung emphasized this beautifully. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The shadow you see in the world is often a reflection of what you've disowned in yourself. But there's a deeper layer. The golden shadow. Yes, your shadow doesn't just contain your darkness. It also holds your unlived potential. Maybe you were told not to show off, so now you suppress your brilliance. Maybe you learned that art isn't practical, so you buried your creativity. Maybe you were shamed for being sensitive, so you built walls instead of letting your empathy shine. Shadow work isn't just about healing wounds. It's about reclaiming lost gifts. That fire in your belly? That idea you're scared to pursue? That truth you've been avoiding? All of it lives in the shadow. And when you bring light into that space, your life begins to change. You stop playing small. You stop self-sabotaging. You become whole, not perfect, not pure, but real. Integration is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong process. You will meet new layers of your shadow at every stage of growth. And each time you'll have a choice. Suppress it or embrace it. So how do you begin? Start with awareness. Speak the unspeakable truths, even if only in your journal. Listen to your body, it remembers what your mind has forgotten. Watch your projections, what you hate in others is often what you deny in yourself. And most of all, approach all of this with compassion. Because the shadow isn't something to conquer. It's something to embrace. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be honest. And brave enough to love the parts of you that were once unloved. That's the work. That's the path. That's the return to wholeness. This is shadow work. And this is where your true self begins. And when you do this work, truly, deeply, something shifts. You no longer seek approval the same way. Because you've met the part of yourself that felt unworthy. You no longer react with the same rage or silence. Because now you understand where that emotion comes from. You no longer feel lost or broken. Because you've made peace with your own depth. You begin to embody what Jung called the process of individuation. This is not becoming someone new. It's becoming who you were before the world told you who to be. Individuation is the union of opposites, the light and the dark, the ego and the soul, the conscious and the unconscious. It's not about perfection. It's about authenticity, alignment, wholeness. And ironically, it is only once you stop trying to be good in the eyes of the world that you start becoming truly good in the eyes of your soul. Because goodness isn't suppression. Goodness is integration. It's the strength to say, yes, I have pain. Yes, I have flaws. Yes, I have rage, jealousy, fear. But I also have love, wisdom, depth, compassion. They are not separate. They are you. This is not easy work. Some people spend their whole lives avoiding it. They blame the world, blame others, live in cycles, stories, distractions. But somewhere deep down, they feel it, the restlessness, the emptiness, the ache, not knowing it's the call of their shadow, not knowing it's their soul asking to be seen. But you've chosen to look, to listen, to integrate, and that is the path of the awakened. Not the loudest, not the most famous, but the most whole. So next time you catch yourself reacting, pause, ask yourself, is this me or my shadow? That question alone could change everything. Because the moment you bring awareness to the unconscious, you reclaim your power, and little by little, shadow by shadow, you become free. And what does freedom look like? It's not the absence of pain. It's the presence of truth. Freedom is sitting with your darkest emotions, without being consumed by them. It's choosing to respond instead of react. It's knowing that no part of you is beyond redemption. When you integrate your shadow, your relationships change. You no longer expect others to complete you or fix you. You stop blaming them for the wounds they only triggered, not caused. You start holding space for yourself and for others. You develop empathy without losing your boundaries. You love more deeply because you're no longer afraid of rejection from yourself. This kind of work, real inner work, creates ripples. You may not realize it, but every time you choose awareness over avoidance, every time you pause before lashing out, every time you forgive yourself for being human, you're healing not just yourself, but generations of inherited patterns. Carl Jung believed that one of the greatest contributions you can make to the world is to confront your own darkness, because when you do, you stop passing it down. Shadow work is the deepest form of service. To yourself, to your family, to the collective. So if you're here, listening, reflecting, even just considering doing this work, know this: you are already brave. You are already beginning. This journey will take you places you didn't expect. It will humble you. It will shake you. But it will free you. And somewhere in the stillness after the storm, you will feel it. You are no longer afraid of your own reflection. You are no longer fragmented. You are no longer hiding. You are whole. You are home. This is the power of facing your shadow. This is the return to your true self. And the world needs more people who are willing to do this work. Not perfectly, but honestly. Not to escape their humanity, but to embrace it. So whenever you feel lost again, remember, you are not broken. You are becoming. And every part of you, even the parts you once rejected, is worthy of love. Because in the end, the shadow wasn't your enemy. It was your invitation, your teacher, your mirror, and now it has become your strength.